Welcome back to the Top 6 show on the Football Terrace. Get like buttons hit, get this shared. And of course, a horrifying day, a humbling day in many ways as well for football fans after the tragic, untimely death of Diogo Jota. And we're only here really today because of our community. You know, we put a big vote out to whether or not people wanted us to go live on the Top 6 show tonight. And, you know, most voted yes, but make it an easy show. A few people said business as usual, which I understand. Some people like to crack on as normal, and some said no. And I'm sure those people won't be here today. But as a community, I thought we'd come together, a little bit of a reflection on the man himself, talk a little bit of transfers, maybe even put a smile on a few people's faces. That's certainly why I'm here, because it's been a very difficult day, I think, for everybody in football. It really has. We've got a really good panel for you tonight. Kate is here with us. We've got, do I make a joke? I will make a joke. We've got her twin sister, Henry, here. And Man Like Will is on the show. I think Kunle is joining us later as well. We're looking at some big transfer news regarding Rodrygo. I can't wait to get Will's take on that. Mohamed Kudus to Chelsea, an offer's been made. Spurs are still leading that race, though. We're looking at Gyokeres and United's striker pursuit, potentially, of Ollie Watkins, with Højlund seemingly on his way out. We are going to touch on all of that, but I did want to start the show really and just, you know, spend a little bit of time. You know, I obviously did a short video earlier on today passing on my condolences to Jota's wife. His mother and father have lost both their sons today, the children, and everybody that was connected to the man. Liverpool Football Club, Portugal, Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are a massive part of Jota's life. But I wanted to hand the floor to yourselves, because although none of us support those teams or sort of support the country, Jota was very much one of those players that everybody liked. He was one of those players that no one had a bad word to say about, and it's been a horrible day, I think, for the football community by and large.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the news, I immediately burst into tears, and it's not because I've got any affiliation with him at all. I look at it that this is a young guy who's actually young enough to be my son, who's got a young family. I think all three of his children are under 3 years old. He's only been married for 10 days. He's got his whole life ahead of him. He's, you know, a few weeks ago was picking up the Premier League trophy, and it just all seems so unfair. And it's just so incredibly tragic. And it's knocked me for six today, to be honest. And, you know, I don't know this guy, but I think it just is a reminder of just how fragile life is and just how quickly everything can change. It's just one of the most horrendous days in football that I can remember being alive. I just feel completely blown away by it, really. It's horrific.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, so I know in like America, we're about like 5 hours behind in like the UK. And I remember like this morning, I just like woke up like randomly, and you just like check like Instagram or something before you go back to bed. So I checked like Instagram, and like I saw like his grayed out picture with his birth year, and like whenever you see that, you know it's nothing that's like a celebratory thing. So like I've kind of been up since about like 5 a.m. pretty much, just because like then you start looking at what's going on, and like it's just like absolutely crazy. And it's like you said, Kate, like these kind of things, like it just does remind you like how short life is, and how like one day you could be here, then the next day you can't. I mean, for me, like this is like one of like the rare times that I think like a active player in like a top league that we all watch, that we all like really do know of, has passed in like the middle of kind of like their career. And it made me think about what happened a few years ago with the Argentinian striker. I think he was going to Cardiff.
Salah.
Yeah. Like he was, I think like his plane or something like that, like on the way to make the move. So yeah, I mean, it's actually like crazy. Definitely does kind of dampen the mood, makes you not want to really do content or nothing like that. But, hope that, like everybody that's affected and his family and stuff could all be taken care of. And, everybody could support them and stuff like that. But, it's crazy.
It's awful, isn't it? Like the guy's younger than me. Like he's about to be 29. Like when you look at the situation, like his children, his parents, and you see the amount of love that he had, like for all the entire Liverpool fan base. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it today, like Everton fans in the masses, the numbers going down, putting flowers down outside the ground. It's absolutely horrendous. Rest in peace to Arnie and his brother Andre, and obviously condolences to his children and his wife and his parents, because like it's just absolutely horrendous. It really, really is.
It certainly is. I mean, there's an old-fashioned saying that nothing brings a family together like a funeral. And although you would never, ever, ever wish or want for a day like this to happen again, as you point out, Will, the list of active football players at the highest level of the game that have passed away during the peak of their career is very, very low. This is a very abnormal situation. I've seen people today angry that it's getting attention compared to other atrocities around the world. I think people are missing a point here, and I've tried not to get personal with it. And I'm not claiming by any means to be massive friends with Jota. I've never made that claim, but he was someone that helped me a lot in my career, someone who was a lovely man, and it's very sad. But it's also the reason why, if you're a football content creator, you're going to see maybe more people reacting to this than other people in the world passing, is because you're in the football community with us, and this is a death within the football community. I'm sure the cricket community today is barely speaking about it, or American political YouTubers are probably not tweeting about this if that's what you follow. And I think people often get really confused by that. Like my whole timeline, I purposely mute and make my algorithm only show me football news, because I don't want to see other things on there when I'm working, just because I want it to be football based. So there is certainly that. And again, as I say, I was similar to you, Will. I saw it quite late last night. I had a few people message me saying you heard the news, and my first thought was to text him. And that's the bit that I don't know what to do. Like, and it's not really about me, but I keep looking at it, hoping that it blue ticks, and it's horrible. And just massive commiserations to his friends and his family, his beautiful children, and his wife again. And I didn't know whether to do today's show, as I said at the top, but then the community speaks, and 80% of the community wanted us to go ahead and do this show, and hopefully, as we say, it's people find it cathartic in some way. And I know that none of our members, none of our viewers, no one who's commenting is sort of getting in there and trying to make it about them, but at the end of the day, we all hate each other sometimes in the year, because we play each other, you beat each other in finals. But at the end of the day, we all come together for one thing, and that's football. And someone that's part of that family, whether it's direct or indirect, has very tragically passed away. And they're not just inanimate objects. They're not just sort of members of staff at the checkout in Tesco's. No disrespect to those individuals. The footballers are a very important part of something that we love. And football, and it's a great saying, I don't know who said it, that football is the most important unimportant things. And I think it is to a lot of us. So yeah, a massive commiserations to him. Kunle, thanks for joining us on the show as well, mate. I really appreciate it, bro. You being here today.
Thanks for having me, bro.
I hope that like Liverpool, or like I don't know like how like these things work, but I hope that like either like the club, or like maybe like some of the teammates that were close with him, like I saw like Ronaldo made a post. I just hope that they, like, I always think about like the family in a situation like this, especially when you have somebody that's like the predominantly like the breadwinner, right? And then now it's like now like that source is like taken away. I just hope that the club, or I don't know, like the players just like take care of like his family. Like that's because like
making sure they're looked after, man. That's
because like now like their life is completely turned upside down. Like. So, I hope that they like honor his contract still. Like, I don't know how much longer he had. I hope that keeps getting paid out. Then I hope that even like after the contract runs out, Liverpool, they still do something where like, like his wife and like their kids are being taken care of and financially and stuff, because like that. Yeah. Like that's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think they should be looking at, and this isn't to put any unnecessary pressure on Liverpool. I saw Tom Little tweet that he wants the club to support them, and I reply. I think they will. Again, Liverpool. You'll all at one point in time have your banter with them, have your problems with them, but they're such a giant football club. They're such a well-run football club. I'm sure they will look at the retirement of a number. I'm sure there'll be some type of tribute permanently at Anfield, And I'm sure that the clubs have insurances anyway, but I'm sure they will pay out that and make sure that his wife and his children are taken care of forever. I'm sure Liverpool Football Club would do that. And as you say, there's the players and everybody else, and it's crazy. This year says came in 2020, won the 20th. He wore number 20, retired the number. Well, there's a lot of connections in numbers sometimes, and crazy. Amir says condolences to Jota and Andre's family, and also to the Liverpool fan base and community. Gone but never forgotten. You'll never walk alone. Tony here says devastating news. I really hated when he played against us. One of those players you love to have on your team but hate to play against. Seems like genuinely a nice guy. His poor family. R.I.P. Jota.
You know what, Terry? It's like it's times like this when, when people ask, like, is football just a sport? It's times like this when the community comes together that you realize it's not just a sport, man. And it's happened on numerous occasions where all rivalries aside, all hatred aside, at the end of the day, it's bigger than who you support and what your team's gonna sign and all that sort of stuff. It's bigger than that. There's people's lives at stake, and I'm so glad about the support that I've seen on social media from a variety of different fan bases and how they come together. It just proves that football it's a religion, like borderline a religion, let alone a sport, man. People are just moved, like it's changed people's lives. It's the reason for people's lives. It's what people wait for once a week, every week. It's just so much. And again, like my condolences to Jota and his family and stuff like that as well, man. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
28 years old.
Glad to see my club Chelsea did a minute's silence for him before training. RIP to Jota, and love to all his family. Big up Terry for that video. Look, the video, like always, been a lot of praise for it. I appreciate it. It's not why I did it. I just had a feeling of I just wanted to put a little message out about him. And, I've had a few derogatory messages about it, but that's life for you. But yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
On a day that's as sad and tragic as this, you'd think people could try and be a little bit nicer, couldn't you? But
well, it's
think about others rather than themselves, man. It's ridiculous.
Twitter is a wild place right now. It's like a lot of people should not have opinions. Twitter is crazy.
It definitely has been. I've been off of it. I had to drive home from London actually today because we were meant to be launching a new show later tonight. Which we're going to be a really fun and entertaining show, but we just decided that we'll be postponing that for a week because it wouldn't have, the vibe has to be right for that show, and it wouldn't have been the right day to do it. But I drove home and I stopped at the service station. I was reading some of the things. I was looking at it thinking, I saw some guy today who I did follow at the time, who posted a picture of a striker. I think it was Nico Williams, and said, if anyone needs a striker, here's one that's available. And I just thought to myself, I'm not trying to bring the mood down. So the only thing I'll say on this is I'm not someone who directly believes in censorship, but I look at that more as that should be something that gets you banned. That's just unacceptable on every single level, because that's not a joke. It's nasty because the news has just come out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The world is for some sickos, but that's why the terrorist community is great, because I don't think we've got people like that here. So mad how life can change. We must make the most of it and love each other, because we can be here happy, promising things, and then gone the next. Live, laugh, remember God. Do you know what, Carl? I think as well, for me, like there are times where part of loving your football club is being angry. I don't actually think you can love something without being angry at it at times. Does that make sense? I think they say the closest emotion to love is hate, but I think sometimes we've got to start putting football into more perspective. You're meant to be involved in football to enjoy it, and to be angry every single day and to be annoyed every single day. Maybe not so much you're taking it too seriously, or you're looking at it from the wrong angle sometimes. And I think that moments like this just make me reflect, because you realize what the most important things in life are. I would like, if the stream starts, we've got something planned for that. We've got something planned for that towards the end. But I hear what you're saying there, Magnum. Thank you very much indeed. I want to say Ronin has gifted 20 memberships out to the community today, which is just amazing. So thank you. You're a legend for that. And Koobs has also donated 20 memberships out. That's 25 brand new members on the show whilst we're live, which is just amazing. Magnum says, I love how everybody is coming together in this. It gives a new look at life for us all. Banter is fun, but love is great. Well, I hope you remember that when Man United lose next season. There we go. So a little bit of lightheartedness there. You got. And listen, I will say this again. I will never proclaim that I knew Jota as well as like his actual close friends and family. But there are a few times where he messaged me and I messaged him where he'd caught bits of the show, especially when Gooner's having a pop at him when he scored against them. And there's a few times I messaged him saying great goals today, but my audience is mad, and he'd come back with laughing emoji or I saw that part. And for me personally, it's only a personal view. Like my nan had a really sick sense of humor. So at her funeral, me and my brothers were just cracking a lot of jokes because our view was my nan would have loved that. So yeah, I think there's room for a little bit of humor in these moments as well, I think. Thank you, Sadiq, for also gifting out 5 memberships to the community tonight. You're absolute legend. Roning here says prayers out to all. Thank you very much for that, brother. It means a great deal. This is Wayne who says life is precious. I'm experienced loss of friends in war and to other effects of war after coming home. I can only imagine what the family are going through. Feels like Kobe. Condolences to Diogo's family. Yeah, and listen, obviously Kobe Bryant is a giant amongst giants when it comes to the sporting world. But I'm not a massive basketball fan, and that hit me because I know the significance of him. And it's very similar vibes. I think this will, for football fans, this may have more of an impact because it's someone in our sport that we watch on a regular basis. But absolutely, I want to celebrate Jota because he was a bad boy finisher. I remember that goal he scored against us, Terry, in the FA Cup when he was with Wolves, had a sense and an eye for goal. He did, and my first memory of him at Wolves was sitting in an office with his agent, Big Willie Bolly, Ruben Neves, and Jota. And Ruben Neves and Jota weren't listening to the questions. And I was saying to their agent, I need them to speak to me because I can't write the answers. They were playing each other on FIFA on PSP in the room. That was my first memory of them. And young lads they were then. But there, listen, I want to thank everyone who putting in your comments and who is with us today. We're going to come back to it a little bit later in the show. I want to talk a few bits of transfer news and activity that are going on today. And Will, I want to come to you on this first bit because there's a report that's come out from Spain that says that Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso are open to selling Rodrygo this summer, and they will not stand in his way if a suitable offer is made. We've seen that he's not started the last 3 matches. Arsenal was seemingly poised to make a move. What's your view as a Madrid fan, and how do you think Arsenal are poised to make? Do you think Arsenal are poised to make that move, and do you think it will happen?
Yeah, I always said that Rodrygo was leaving this summer. I didn't really care what Xabi Alonso said. He came out in the press conferences and he said that Rodrygo is an important player for us, etc. Actions speak louder than words, and the actions tell me that Rodrygo is not an important player for us. He's basically been dropped for Arda Güler because now we're not playing with wingers per se. It's more like a 3-5-2. And Arda now drops into that midfield, and he brings that control that we were lacking when it was Tchouameni, Jude, and Valverde. So we look a lot more fluid with Arda in the 11. We've actually been playing some really good football. We've been cooking underneath Xabi Alonso, in my opinion. It's such a dramatic improvement to the no tactics underneath Carlo Ancelotti. Now, as far as Rodrygo is concerned, I don't want him to leave. He's my favorite player at the club, the Mumbai Neymar. But these things happen. You know what I'm saying? So whoever he ends up going to is going to be a fantastic signing for them. I think Arsenal, that would be a signing that shows me of their intent. I think a lot of people are having a go at Arsenal right now for bringing in like Norgard VPN, also Kepa coming in as a number 2 goalkeeper. So if you go and bring in a guy like Rodrygo, that's a signing that tells me, yeah, we're trying to win the league. We're not messing around. We're going for it. I think Arsenal do need to move very quickly, though. because I think like once it kind of becomes more clear that Rodrygo is available, I think a lot of other clubs will come in for him. The left wing market is trash. I think he's the best one that's available. And I think there's another club that needs him that I think will come in, and that's Bayern. And I feel like that could be a big issue for Arsenal if Bayern come in, because they need a left winger as well. So yeah, if I was Arsenal, I would be trying to get this deal done.
Martinelli.
I was going to say, do you not think Liverpool could go in for him if Diaz goes?
I mean, they could come in for him, but
they've been like a fan of Rodrygo for like
Liverpool,
2 years.
Well, but I haven't seen like Liverpool get linked with wingers as much as like I've seen them get linked with like trying to find a striker, for example, with like Isak, like Ekatike. I think they've also been linked to like Osimhen this week as well. So, but I feel like if it's the Premier League, it does seem like it's gonna be Arsenal. But I do think because how bad the left wing market is, then yeah, there's gonna be a lot of clubs that come in for him.
Look, Will, first of all, NordGuard VPN is diabolical. How dare you? Absolutely diabolical. But yeah, what I would say is the reality is a Rodrygo signing gets me to start talking again, because I purposely not really talked about NordGuard and Kepa and stuff, because if they get me Rodrygo, to be honest, I can even close my eyes and take Ollie Watkins as a 9. Oh, that's a bit extreme, but you get what I'm saying. Like that can kind of create like a sugarcoating of everything else that goes on this summer. I don't really mind if we get Gyokeres or Sesko if we get Rodrygo in, because he's just so much of a level raiser when it comes to that left side. And Bayern need a left winger. We got an incredible winger called Martin Ellis from Romford that plays on the left for Arsenal. So if Bayern Munich need a left winger, we got Martinelli there ready to take that role. So Rodrygo to Arsenal, Martinelli to Bayern Munich. Everyone's happy at the end of the day. I think, as I said, this World Club Cup was going to be a defining factor whether he actually moves. And what Xavi's told him is that I don't need you. If you stay, I'll probably use you as a backup on your favorite side, which is the left side. But at the end of the day, I don't need you, and I've got enough in my team to without you. So he's got to make the decision. Does he care about being a top player? Does he care about being the starting left winger for Brazil in the World Cup? Does he care about maybe challenging for a Ballon d'Or? Like, does he care about all these things? If so, he definitely moves. And if he does move, considering how much we've been in admiration of him since like for the last few months, I say he picks us. But again, just like Will said, you never know because of the way the market.
Do you think you get Rodrygo and if Martinelli stays, or do you think he's got to
go? It sounds like we're gonna get rid of one of them, because what it sounds like is that we're trying to bring in Eze and a winger. And if that happens, then it's quite likely either Trossard or Martinelli goes. I don't mind either. Dumb and Dumber, either of them can go for me. So you can take them both if I'm honest, but we're only going to get rid. I definitely think we'll get rid of one.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's crazy, Kunle? I actually hope that Rodrygo doesn't mind coming off the bench. I mean, like for his personal growth, I don't think, and I've said this multiple times for like the last few years, I said we'll never see the best version of Rodrygo at Real Madrid, because he's always going to have to play second fiddle. He's always going to have to sacrifice what he wants to do, because he is lower in the pecking order with the attack. Like he's behind Vinicius, he's behind Mbappe, he's behind Jude as well to some extent. So, you know, I think if I was Rodrygo, it just comes down to what do you want to do in terms of, yeah, you might downgrade in terms of the club, and that's not a dig, right? You know, if you're leaving Real Madrid, unless you're going to like
you had to say that, didn't you? But yeah,
no, I'm saying, but unless you're going to like a Barca or a Bayern, it's kind of a downgrade. But he's already won multiple UCLs. He's won every trophy that there is to win at the club level for us. Maybe he might be okay with sacrificing a bit of that to now get put in conversations that he's not a part of, right? He does want to be in the Ballon d'Or talks. He does want to be considered one of the best players in the world. He's not, again, it's just not going to happen at Real Madrid. So I think
it's a mistake if you sell Rodrygo. Do you think like it could turn out to cost you?
Say it again?
I said, do you think it will be a mistake if you sell Rodrygo? Do you think you'll be looking at it 2-3 years down the line and thinking, oh, we shouldn't have done that?
Well, you know what it is. So, like, hindsight's 2020. Look at, for example, Hakimi, right? He's from the academy. He broke through. He's one of the best right backs in the world. we sold him because he was just going to always be back up to Danny Carvajal. So it's like, it's kind of like wrong. So it's kind of like a right player, but like wrong time kind of situation.
Yeah, I think Henry, I think it's like, as a right winger, there's a lot better that Real Madrid can do as a right winger.
And we signed Franco.
If they were playing him on the left, then maybe it'd be a bit different. But the fact that he's playing on the right.
Nah, so what it'll be is, right, Rodrygo will end up leaving, ends up Arsenal, Bayern, whoever. He'll be world class. He'll cook. Then people will say Madrid are idiots for selling him because nobody really cares about the context of why he was sold, right? Yeah. He's not going to be able to be on the left wing. But nah, I think like we'll be fine. It's like I just said, we signed that kid Franco Mastuano from River Plate. He's a right winger /10.
Who's the guy you're playing up front? The young Spanish guy who's like scoring.
Gonzalo Garcia. He's been phenomenal.
He's from the academy as well.
Yeah, he's from the academy. He's been phenomenal this club.
That header the other night.
Has he been lucky or is he actually good? Have you seen a bit of him beforehand?
Starting against Dortmund, like Gonzalo Garcia needs to be starting until further.
No, but Will, before this tournament, did you see a lot of him? Like I don't really heard too much about him.
Nah, so he scored the winner for us against Leganes in the Copa del Rey. Like he scored like a 93rd minute winner. But the thing is, Carlo tax. Carlo didn't trust the youth. Carlo wasted Arda Güler. Carlo wasted Endrick.
Disrespect he gets, by the way.
The way he talks him down is crazy.
Now look, Carlo's a legend, but the man has gotten away with a lot. Like Carlo needs 15 public lashings right in the town square for all of us to see. Yeah, he has to pay for his crimes. He has to pay. Last season was unacceptable, Kunle. It was unacceptable.
You allow him for the CV he has. You let him have that.
Nah, fair enough. Yeah, but not Carlo tax. Yeah. That's why you didn't see a lot of these players.
I think Arsenal got a great. Look, Bayern Munich were definitely a threat to Arsenal getting him. But I like what you were saying, Kunle. I think for Arsenal, Eze, I think is going to happen no matter what. I think Eze is as. I mean, it's another one. It's another one for Spurs, isn't it? It's more Henry. Every time Henry says, "I know we're going to get that player," Semenyo, Mbeumo. He then said about Eze. Like Henry's got to stop predicting the outcome of. Like you've used up your luck, haven't you?
I'm not even going to say about Kudus. Yeah. I'm just going to keep quiet.
Yeah, Why does your hair look like Ellen DeGeneres, bro? What's going on?
I don't know. I got out of the shower and it's just kind of all over the place.
Sorry. For me, I think Henry used up all of his prediction power when he predicted the correct result and correct score for the Europa League final, because all the transfer predictions you make end up not happening. So that, look, I think Arsenal are going to get Eze. I think they've got a great chance. I think they've got a really, really good chance of landing Rodrygo as well. Bayern Munich will be a threat. But I can see a world where it happens. I certainly see him leaving Real Madrid. As you said at the start, Will, actions speak louder than words, and he's not playing him. And when that rumor has been around since about March that Alonso coming in is bad news for Rodrygo, but I think we all knew that because you guys were imbalanced last year, and you didn't have a proper right-sided player. And actually, so far at the Club World Cup, I know the competition hasn't been of the same level as La Liga or the Champions League, but your team looks more balanced. That's why your young number 9 is what's his name? Is it Gonzalo
Garcia?
Yeah, that's why he is doing well as a striker, because there's balance on both sides, and there's still a long way for that to go. And I actually think Trent, barring the opening 10 minutes of his first game, I thought it started to look like the Trent we saw at Liverpool. So yeah, I think Rodrygo will go. Arsenal got a brilliant chance of getting him, but they land him and Eze, plus they're guaranteed to get a number 9. Yeah, Kunle's going to be back on here with chest for days, like Jordan, Katie Price level
topless.
Chest.
I'll be on there topless, mate. Fully.
You're gonna be moving like Sydney Sweeney, Kunle. Huh? Nah, I said you're gonna be moving like Sydney Sweeney.
Hey, definitely, mate. Definitely.
Viewers, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Thank you, Michael, for becoming a new member of the Terrace. That means a great deal to us, my friend. Thank you. Luke Skywalker here says RIP Jota. Thank you, Luke. He also encourages everybody to get that like button smashed. This here says, Terry, I always tell Kate to be happy and enjoy life when you do a stream. Keep it nice and light-hearted, because you never know what's around the corner. And I hear you on that. And I do look, there are times where you're going to get irate and you're going to get frustrated. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. And I have clashes on here with people. But when I finish, I don't hold on to any of that. I go and give my kids a kiss goodnight, or I take the dog for a walk, or I'll go out with friends, because there are more important things in life than fighting over football. It's great to have a footballing debate, but falling out with people over it, I think
crazy.
I think that's finished. I think that behavior in the social media world is done now. Not just because of today. I just think in general it's dying out. I think people are sitting there and just thinking, "Oh, really? We're having a fight because you think this striker's scoring 20 goals and you think this guy's going to get 5 more. You're going to almost get into an altercation where you're getting personal and nasty." No, I think the viewers, I think the majority of viewers, and I think the majority of creators are over that world. We saw it 10 years ago when all the YouTubers wanted to fight each other. It's all gone now. You get in a bit of misfits. That's more OF girls now, isn't it? And gamers, but actual YouTubers, no one's into that anymore. It's old hat. Most clubs would love Kepa as a backup because it's Arsenal. The shit is flying around from other supporters. Got to love people's online thoughts. Yeah, there is a lot of, like Kunle, one of the other talking points that there's a lot of pressure on you guys, or a lot of criticism, especially when it comes to your striker situation. People, why haven't they made their mind up yet? What are you hearing as an Arsenal fan? Is there any updates? Are you closer to a decision around Sesko or Gyokeres?
Do you know what? It just seems like this summer's issue is every day in the morning it's Sesko, in the evening it's Gyokeres, and then the next day in the morning it's Gyokeres, in the evening it's Sesko. It's like, I think Fabrizio does not know what's going on in it, so he just needs to post content. So I think we're like generally Berta's in for both of them. We're maybe progressing and talks with both of them. Who knows? But it's really now, at the start of the summer, it looked like we were gonna get Sesko definitely. That's what all the attention was pushing to. Then a couple of weeks ago, it kind of changed, and then it was Gyokeres. Then it's now, like, it depends what time of the day it is. So I don't know, and like, I know we're under pressure, but I'm not feeling it yet. As I said, Terry, like, I'm only going to start feeling any pressure if we get into pre-season time and then we haven't got any of the important signings done. Like, that's when I'm going to start feeling the pressure. But till then, it's July the 2nd or something like that. Like, I'm good. In terms of the Kepa thing as well, I wanted to talk about. Like, I don't know. Liverpool they've sold Kelleher, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say we have the best number 2 in the league right now.
No.
Who's got the best number 2?
Man City do with Ortega. But I get your point.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. It's like it's only 5 million. Like, I know it's the whole Chelsea thing, and some people say it's heritage now. Arsenal buying a reject from Chelsea, but it's 5 million, man. It's really nothing, and he's a sub.
How many games is he going to play? Probably FA Cup, League Cup,
11 games. And 6 will be in the FA Cup. Yeah, literally.
It's ridiculous.
It's whatever, man. It's not panic stations now, but I understand why on social media it seems like that, because my fan base get triggered over everything. So if you throw something at them, they're gonna spaz out. So I hear it, I get it, but I'm not involved, man. I've been through one too many summer windows to get affected by becoming Links FC every summer. So I'm good for now, but you might see me different when it comes to pre-season, Terry. So I'm all right for now.
How many signings do you think you need to make, or like the quality of signing, for you to like come on here, have your chest out, say we're winning the league, we're better than Liverpool? Like, you need obviously a left winger, a striker. Do you think you need another midfielder? Or like Madueke? I know we haven't spoken on it yet. Is he coming in as a backup?
Why are you trying to anger me? Why? Everything was going so well till you mentioned that guy. Why? You know what? Anyway, please let's keep this positive. But in terms of if you told me that at the end of the summer we were going to get Rodrygo, Gyokeres, and Zubimendi and a couple of like squad players, I would have said confidently, it's Arteta has no excuses now. He's got everything. All the Arteta loves, they have every single thing he needs. If he gets Eze as well, for me, that's an extra icing on the cake. I don't think we necessarily need that position, depending on what Odegaard and Nwaneri do this season. So, but I love the fact to get an Eze. He's an Arsenal fan. He can push Odegaard. He can fill in some other positions as well. He's in the peak of his career right now. So if ever there was a situation where he was going to push on and get to the next level, it's now. So I like it, but I don't necessarily need it. If you get me Gyokeres and Rodrygo, I don't necessarily need it. But if we get all of that done, no excuses, man.
You want to know what's crazy? If you have that summer, right, where you sign all these players, right, you get Eze, Rodrygo, like Gyokeres, bro. And if this guy does not win the Prem, he has to be sacked on the spot. Like the minute that it's mathematically impossible for you to win the league, he would have to be sacked. Like there would be no other excuse.
I think he needs to be the bigger person and just walk and say, "Do you know what?
Walk.
It's not for me." Yeah, like because I think the board is scared to sack him, so he needs to be the bigger man and say, "I can't do this," you know.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like an exception. Like, okay, like if he wins the Champions League, then yes. I'm not saying the Prem is the end all be all, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. Like, if you don't win like one of those two trophies, and I mean, come on, it's like
look, I'll tell you where I'm quite clear. I said at the start of the season what my stance was for Arteta to give his job. He's not hit that target. So again, I'm not, just like with Wenger and Emery, I'm not the toxic Arteta right and all that stuff. I'm not that. I do think we need to give someone else a chance, but I know my club are not going to do it. I'm behind it. I'll get behind it, but literally, I don't. Even if we don't have the summer we're supposed to have, he has to get it done. That's the reality. Like, whether he gets one of these guys or all of them, he has zero excuses from me. He must get it done, or I'll be at his doorstep or made or whatever, man. Because this is
but
this has been a tough summer. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm slightly getting over it now, but it's been rough. My enemies are rejoicing and all. It's a lot.
Is it really that black and white when you look at our Liverpool strength and though to say Arsenal have got to win the league if they bring them in?
It's as black and white as if they're gonna keep Arteta to do it. Yes, there's no matter what anyone else does, the fact that these boys have said we are behind you, boss. You must get it done. Get it done. 6 years? No, he has to get it done.
Yeah, facts.
And don't mention that other fake Nigerian guy.
You talk about Medeweke now because I want to hear that Nigerian accent come out.
Do you know what? The more I hear this name, my body starts to shake because I first thought it was just them throwing something at Arsenal fans to get them riled up. We know that we bite at everything, but I keep hearing this name over and over again. I mean, I have nothing against Igbo people. Big up the Igbo guys. I'm Yoruba, but big up the Igbo guys. Nothing against Igbo people, but Madueke, I just do not want this man at my club because he believes he's Bukayo Saka before being Bukayo Saka. That's the thing. He'll have one good game and he thinks he's the best right winger in the Premier League. That's my issue with him. He doesn't push on, and personally, I can't see it materializing because he doesn't really play on the left. And his ego is too big to think he's back up to Saka. So I think he's more likely to go to like a Newcastle or something. So I'm hoping, my gut feeling is good. But with my club and Chelsea, you never can tell, man. Please do the right thing, I beg.
Yeah, let me ask you this question then. How would you feel about Madueke if you got Sesko, Rodrygo, Eze, and then Madueke as a backup to Saka?
See, Terry, that is the only scenario that I'll be okay with it. The only one. That's the one. The one and only scenario where, you know what, it doesn't really matter what he brings because we've got Rodrygo, we've got Gyokeres. I agree. See, your dog's even angry about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree that if we have all that done, his participation in the team is not as needed as much. But if we don't get a Rodrygo and he's the winger that we get, that's when alarm bells start to raise at Arsenal for me.
Okay, I get you. Let's go to some of the super chats here. This one here says, have Paul improved their squad or just replace players? Liverpool have improved. They have improved because Gyokeres Robinson was on his way out. Wirtz has improved that squad. Trent and Frimpong, yeah, you're talking swapping, but they have improved their squad, no doubt. Saw a big report that Arteta thinks Arsenal players are getting too comfortable. Makes sense why we're looking at bringing in players that are starters.
But that makes no sense because if anything, the manager is comfortable. It's like with what he's been doing to get a pay rise and to not be underneath any pressure as of right now, kind of. I feel like Arteta's comfortable.
The audacity, if he's the one that made that statement, bro,
it's like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you got a pay rise, like after just coming second all the time. Like, you're comfortable. What are you doing here?
He should have said we are comfortable as a team. Not
like we need to fix up.
You know what I mean?
I hear that. I hear that. This here says, "Great show, guys, on such a sad loss today. Well done." Thank you, David. Much love to the panel and chat. Smash the like. Thank you very much, John. Did you guys see that Arsenal fan who went in on Igao? Yes. And like I said, I don't know that man. I wish no harm on him. I wish no badness on him. But I think that kind of content is dying. And I'm almost getting to a point now where if someone goes at you personally and you bite back, I kind of get it. But just look, Igao can be annoying, but I love Igao. Igao praises nearly everything Arsenal do, and that annoys some people. But you do not need to talk to him like that. You just don't, or about him in that way. Fair play to Aaron for calling it out, him getting personal. But yeah, ridiculous. Henry's hair is perfect, not the look, the color, or the cut or anything, but it is hair on his head. Mine is going away.
Yeah, it's very true, mate. And
true.
At least you've got hair now as well, which is
Oh no, it's doing all right, mate. You saw it in person yesterday. He did something really weird yesterday, Henry. He came all the way to London. He came down to where our studio is. He went out for lunch with the commercial team that works there. Said to me, let's make content. I went, cool. I'm halfway through streaming. We could have made content after. He goes, I'm going home now. He just came to London.
I didn't know you was doing other things. I just left you to it.
Yeah, but YouTubers.
You didn't tell me you was going there today, though.
Well, I stayed up in London. I told you that.
That's because you're in it, right?
I stayed up in London. I was meeting with some people last night, and then I stayed up because we were meant to be up there today at the We Are Tottenham TV studio. So I thought I ain't driving back to Surrey. This here says Jota was a great player. RIP. Absolutely. Saw reports that Odegaard had ankle surgery, so it does make sense that Eze is being considered. Also explains Odegaard's dip in form.
Here come the excuses.
Yeah, man. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Odegaard would have last season. There'd have been there's all these excuses. Like I hate when like things come out about injuries after you already stink it up, because now I think that you're trying to like save face.
You see, I would be, you know what, I'd kind of hear it if it was just that his lack of shooting was the issue. Like, you know, maybe the way you strike the ball when you've had a whatever. I could maybe, if I'm being crazy, hear that. But the fact that even his passes, like 2-meter passes, like through balls, is his decision making that was messed up for me this season. Not how good he was at striking the ball. He just made really bad decisions. Like, I don't know what went wrong. Like the passes that he would have made 2 years ago, he was picking a different option. He was always picking the Hollywood pass or dwelling on the ball a little bit longer rather than the quick movement that got us excited about him 2 seasons ago. So all that injury stuff doesn't really fly with me, man. I do believe, just like I think there's 2 playmakers that have got big seasons ahead of them to determine the rest of their careers, and that's Phil Foden and Martin Odegaard. They both had terrible seasons last year with lots to prove. So let's see. I just hope it was a blip in form. But let's see.
Not the way you dropped Foden in first.
I talked about Odegaard before I dropped him in there, mate.
No,
but just to make it clear, Foden's my guy. I know everyone thinks I hate Foden, but at the start of last season, they asked, well, who would you like start, bench, and sell between Foden, Palmer, and Saka? I said start Foden, bench Saka, and sell Palmer. So I'm a Foden fan. I just if he's having a bad year, I just called it out, just the same way I called out my captain. Had a bad year.
A Red Indian here says, woke up this morning to the awful news of the passing of our beloved Diogo Jota and his brother. Shed some tears. Couldn't believe it at first. Shed some more tears. You'll never walk alone, you legend. R.I.P. The Albanian United fan, thank you for becoming a new member. I will say back to Red Indian. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, as a man as well. Shed them tears if you need to. Nothing wrong with that at all. Sorry. Shooters got to shoot. Kate, are you single? Into a 30 and are you into a 34-year-old black male, 6'1"? I'm a United fan, but I can pull our differences aside for a cutie. Put our differences. She's got a Jimbo, mate. You don't know about man like Jimbo, bruv.
I don't even know what to say. Really. I've got no words. 34 though, I think you should be. Yeah, I'd probably eat you for breakfast. I'm just going to put it out there.
This here says, I agree. I'd be comfortable with 15 mil a year too. True, a lot of people would. I can tell who's never played a competitive sport and never had a real injury, is what Wayne says here. He's obviously having a dig at you, Will.
Yeah.
Oh, what gives Terry? Negative Potsy out. Negative other guys. Sorry, didn't know their name comes in. Seems you respect Arsenal more than them. Well, it's not. Do you know what it is? It's about, I want a dichotomy of opinion. And we have quite a lot of people on the terrace that are neutral on Arsenal or positive. So we want a bit of a mixture. And I like some of the things that Aaron said. I want to challenge some of the things that he has said. Well, I'm not just going to bring on Arsenal fans who have opinions that I personally or you, the audience, completely agree with. Because then what's the point of listening? Like, what's the point of listening to a show where we all agree with what everybody's saying? There's no point doing the show. We're not learning anything, or it'd be crazy to do that, Magnum. Are Arsenal holding firm on Sesko Gyokeres value because they are second to third choice over Isak? Maybe next summer. June was the squad build, July top additions. They might slightly be waiting to see if Isak becomes available, but we'll see. Omar's joining us on the show as well now. Welcome, my friend. This Arteta hate is over the top. Cool, he might not be the guy to get over the line, but bash him every day is getting old, is what Shane says here.
I actually stuck up for him.
Shane, what's considered as Arteta hate? Like, I want to understand that, because Terry, you and me, I've been quite consistent with Arteta. I was Arteta in all season. The last few years I've been Arteta in, but I said last year was the year that he needs to stand up, because this is the time. We've been 2 points away, 5 points away. This is the time, and the squad should be in a position where we didn't need January to bail us out. To be honest, that's what really frustrated me about last season. We shouldn't have needed January to bail us out, even though we did. So my issue is, like, I respect everything Arteta has done. He's done great things. He's got me excited about watching my football team again. He's got us in conversations. All the rivals are talking about us every day, and they claim that we're not a threat. I love that. And that's because of Arteta. The fan base, I mean, the Emirates has been louder than it's been ever since we moved there, since Arteta came to play. But how many, like, the thing I have a question is, like, how many seasons are we going to just keep saying, he nearly made it, he nearly made it, let's fix it in the summer and go again. He nearly made it. How many times do we, like, is it 8 seasons? Is it 9 seasons? I want to know what the time span is until we start saying maybe someone else deserves a shot. Like, not saying that he's going to be a bad manager after this. He might go on to do exceptional things in football. He's definitely got the potential to and the foundation to, but maybe at Arsenal, it's just not quite the time for him. Maybe he needs to go elsewhere in a smaller league where he can take more risks and adopt a different style of football. Who knows? And then go to a bigger club, and who knows? But right now, because of a lot of the decisions he made in crucial moments, more than the transfer window, decisions he made at crucial moments makes me believe, do you know what? I don't know if he's the guy to get it over the line. Again, I hope he proves me wrong. I'm ready for it. I'm an Arsenal fan over everything. I hope he proves me wrong. I'll be doing knee slides all over my front room. But right now, it's just, we went from 2 points to finishing at how many? What, 15 points? 12? How many points did we finish behind Liverpool this season?
It was 12, wasn't it?
12. Like, you go from 2 points to 12, and you expect everyone just to be happy because he's got you back challenging. Yeah, I'm not entitled and say we deserve a league title. It's not like that. No one deserves a league title, but is Arteta the only one that deserves a chance in winning it at Arsenal? Is that what you're telling me? Come on now.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I mean,
yeah, go on, Omar. Go on.
I mean, listen, you know what it is, right? It's just like my guy just said. Like, at the end of the day, it's not wrong for fans, right? Especially fans of Arsenal Football Club to have ambitions, right? Yeah, you have ambitions. You want to win. At some point, you have to ask, when can I start asking for trophies? You understand what I mean? Because this is not Arteta's first season. It's his fifth, right? He's signed a lot of players. He's gotten rid of a lot of players. I've always said this when it comes to Arsenal. I feel like it's because it's been so long for a club of Arsenal stature since they've been at the pinnacle of like English football that a lot of these fans either are too young to remember those times or have just downright just forgotten how good they once used to be. You understand what I mean, right? Big clubs have big ambitions, and every club, yes, there's always clubs that are always going to sit down and say, listen, we need time, we need to build the right squad, this and this and this. That's all good and great. But here's the thing, right? If you've been here 5 years talking about a project, phases, trust the process, all of these stuff, you've been this close to winning the league title for the last 3 years. At some point, you then have to look at the manager and say, well, listen, the first year, I backed you. Second year, we got close, we didn't make it. The third year, and we're back to being second, and there's a new team now. A new team has now went past us and won the league ahead of us. I'm sorry, at this point, I have to ask the question, when can I now start demanding for trophies? When can I start demanding for trophies? Because at the end of the day, Terry, they're not winning anything. That's the issue with this whole thing with Arsenal, right? If they were winning FA Cups, Carabao Cups, right, Champions Leagues, whatever trophy is available, then you can then say, well, listen, at least he shows he can win. It's just that, he just needs time. But this guy's not winning anything, Terry. Nothing. And that is a problem because sometimes managers are good at building teams. They're just not good at taking them over the line. And Arteta could be just one of those. We just don't know.
Yeah, look, I think I've said a long while now, Arteta's job has to be under pressure. And I think that's normal in this game of football. It's one of the only industries in the world where I don't feel bad putting this level of football player or manager under pressure to perform, because even if they fail, they're winners because they walk away as millionaires. They're not, if these managers were earning 30 grand a year, they've got 3 kids to feed and a mortgage, I'd be far more sympathetic when it comes to that. Cobes here says, I love Igal. He always backs a club no matter what. I don't always agree, but he bleeds Arsenal. Big up Igal. Yeah, look, and you could listen, me and Igal are friends. And we've shouted at each other on stream. I've exploded at him, but I don't think I've ever spoke about him in that way. And I don't think I don't believe I've done that. And half the time when you guys have seen us kick off on stream, he's in my DMs going, "Wow, that's great, I've got you." So there's a friendly element to it. But when I saw that, I don't know the other guy, and I think that my wish is that nobody treats him that way either, because I was talking. You see this in football when bad headlines about Raheem Sterling and good headlines about Kane, and you get those strange people that go, I want the papers to attack Harry Kane in the same way. I've always seen it the opposite way, which is no, I want them to treat Raheem Sterling as well. We should be looking to raise the levels of treatment rather than bring everybody down to a bad level. Like, maybe that's just me, right? But yeah, the way Gal was spoken about was horrendous indeed. Speaking of difficult situations, Chelsea have made a new offer, according to reports, for Kudus. They're offering players at the moment. It's believed that Kudus really likes the idea of going to Chelsea, but Spurs, Henry, are also in for him. How do you see this one panning out? Arsenal on the periphery, Chelsea now making the inquiries, but Spurs leading the race at the moment. How do you think this one's going to go for the old Spuds?
Well, so far, in terms of my predictions, I'm currently 0-3. So I'm not going to say he's going to be certainly joining Spurs. I mean, Romano said a couple of days ago that he's open to the move. I don't know who's reported that he's he's open to joining Chelsea. But if it's out there, it's out there. Did Chelsea really need him? They've just signed Jamie Gittins. They've just got João Pedro. They've got Delap. They've got Neto. They've got Palmer who can play out there. They've got, so many wingers. Whereas we're crying out for a player that can beat a man, be more creative. Kudus has played in the 10 at Ajax. He'd offer so much quality, which we need. And at a cut price, at first it was 85 million release clause. Now it's 50 million. Tottenham should be all over this, considering we've lost out on, now it looks like we've lost out on Eze. The club of Paul O'Keefe said we've pulled out of that. I'll be gutted, I'll be honest. If he ends up at Chelsea, and then you look at Semenyo at Bournemouth, just signed a new contract, which we were also after, according to Ornstein. It's like all the wingers that we're going for, are getting pinched up by everyone else. It's kind of like, I look at Man United, and I know obviously Man United are such a bigger football club than Tottenham, but we were the one that won the Europa League, and they've gone out and got Cunha and Brian and Buemo, and now we might not even get Mohamed Kudus from West Ham. And it's like, if we're not getting Kudus, Semenyo, Brian and Buemo, the club want apparently a Premier League proven winger. Who else out there is there? It's available and not already been snatched up by another club.
Jack Grealish, brother. Come on.
Martinelli, maybe.
Hey, don't act like you wouldn't take him. You're going to the stadium to greet him there.
2 or 3 years ago, I do like Grealish. 2 or 3 years ago, I'd agree with that. After the treble winning season City had, I'd have snapped him up. We had him in Birmingham in a hotel room with our director of football about to sign a contract, and Levy didn't want it. So Tottenham fans are very, very, very familiar with the Grealish scenario, but I don't know. I'm interested to see what Thomas Frank's the system.
Well, you wouldn't take Grealish, honestly. You wouldn't take it.
Brendan Johnson was the guy he wanted at Brentford. So I think Brendan Johnson's going to start on the right. If we sign Kudus, are we bringing him in to come on the left?
But I don't think that you're going to get Kudus. That's the thing, though. And I think
Wait, Henry, are you turning your nose up at Jack Grealish? What am I missing something here?
Personally,
Kate, are you having this? Kate, what are you saying about this?
I'd rather go and get a younger player.
I'm not asking about what you'd rather, but if you had a chance to sign Jack Grealish tomorrow, what you saying no? Why is there so much hesitation?
Yeah, but it's the money. He's barely played for a year.
Jack with a chip on his shoulder, moved to London, away from the man.
Yeah, and he'll have 10 good games and then snap his leg, and we'll be finished again. I'd rather go out and get someone like Mohamed Kudus, who's got something to prove, because his first year at West Ham, he was really, really good. And then last year, he was, the whole West Ham team collectively was shit.
Yeah, he wanted to leave from September.
I take Grealish to look at them legs every week, but that's as far as it goes. I don't want him. He'd be too expensive. The wages would be too much, and I think he's on the decline. And we don't need another player coming in that's on the decline, like Jack Grealish. Kudos.
So wait, is Grealish done? Is everyone done with Grealish? He's never gonna go back to Aston Villa Grealish. He's done. Is that what everyone's saying?
I can see him at somewhere like Brighton.
I mean, here's the thing. I still think Grealish is a great player. I just think.
So you think there's a manager that can unlock him with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder?
No. So this is the thing. That's the thing. When it comes, you have to understand, right? When you're playing under Pep, you have to be. There's a lot of qualities that you need to have if you're playing under Pep, right? And as much as a footballer as Grealish was, he just couldn't do the whole Pep thing. Now, that doesn't mean he's a terrible player. It just means that system-wise, he can work on other systems, not on Pep's system. You understand what I mean? But I do believe that there's still a good player in there. There's still a good player in there.
But was Grealish's issues more off the pitch than on the pitch? Because it seems like he's a bit of a party animal, but that's why he get hooked off the pitch. I don't know, was it his form that people were upset with, or is that extracurricular activities? I don't know, man. But yeah, I think that'd be a good shout.
I'd rather sign Kudus.
Thomas Frank could get a tune out of him, but I just don't want Kudus at Spurs. How about that?
Have Ghana qualified for AFCON?
Have Ghana qualified for AFCON?
I don't think they have. Because obviously that's another thing. If we sign him, we're gonna be without him for a month.
Oh.
I don't know. Is anyone in the chat? Have they qualified?
Don't know.
Oh no, they haven't. They haven't
Listen,
qualified. Someone said
They're not.
No.
That's right.
Yeah, bring him. Chelsea don't need him. They've already got flipping. They've brought in Gittins. They've brought in Delap. They've got so many wingers. I mean, the likelihood is Paul O'Keefe saying that the Saudis are really interested in Son after the Asian tour. But then again, we've just signed Matthias Tell. Are we going to spend 35 million quid on him to sit on the bench?
Yes.
Like, you think so?
I don't reckon he's any good. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I'm saying, are Tottenham going to go?
It's only 30 million. It's not like 60 million.
Yeah, but we aren't like you. We don't go drop 100 mil on players. Our record signing Solanke is 60 mil. Like we don't go and drop 100 mil on a player and then 70 million later on Havertz. We don't do that.
Yeah, but
So we're talking about 100 million. Wait, are you talking about 100 million for who? Kudus.
I'm saying Tottenham don't go and spend. We spend a lot of money. But
it's 30 mil. When is 30 mil thing was like, oh, we can't put him on the bench. We paid 30 mil for him. When was that ever the saying? Ever? No,
but okay, maybe not in Arsenal, but Tottenham don't roll like that. We don't spend 30, 40 mil on a player. Like look at the players done recently for big money. They've all come in and started, other than Richarlison. Everyone, Maddison, Van der Ven, Romero, Solanke, Johnson, they all come in to start. So my point is, if we sign Matthias Tell and then we go and drop 50M on Kudus, who's going to be our front three? Because someone's going to be unhappy.
Well, here's the thing. But if you sign Kudus is going to be one of your key players next season.
Of course. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's why like spending the money they just mentioned, right? It's clear, just like you mentioned, apart from Richarlison, every big money signing you've made is actually playing. So a player like Kudus' stature, who you know is going to start, like at the end of the day, you would want to splash the cash for a player like that who you know is going to start in the team.
Yeah,
but the problem I get the problem that you have, Henry, is because the reality is Kudus is better than all the Chelsea's wingers. That's actually the reality. So I know what you mean in terms of they don't need him in terms of volume, but he's better than all their wingers. So that's when the Chelsea thing starts to get a little bit scary. With a Kudus, it changes a little bit for me. Like with the wingers they got right now, I still. Obviously, I got a little bit wrong with Chelsea last season, saying that they're not going to finish in the top four, and they did. But I don't see them going to that next level with the current signings that they have so far. Like in terms of a proper title race, like pushing whoever wins the league to the end, I can't see that. With Kudus, that changes everything for me.
Yeah, I think he's a good
yeah, I think it'd be a great signing for both clubs. If I'm being honest, I think he's excellent, and I get why Arsenal and United are not looking at him because of the other players that we're linked to, but I think he's brilliant. I really do. How do you think Thomas Frank will do at Rottingham?
We can't do any worse than Postecoglou, league-wise. So.
What, any worse? Win a European trophy? What? Hey,
I mean,
there's not going to be any hate on Ange here, mate. Not on my watch here. Big up Ange. Second season Ange.
He's obviously not going to win a European trophy because we're in the Champions League. But do you know what? I don't know. I'm quite looking forward to the season to see what he does. But the transfer window's putting a bit of a dampener on it at the minute because nothing's happening. So I'm getting a little Terry. It looks like you're having a smoke party in your house. All I can see is this smoke keep coming over, and it's freaking me out.
It's helping my throat. It says a humidifier for my throat.
Oh, okay. I wonder what it was. It keeps freaking me out. It looks like evil spirits. Or something.
I've not put an iOS machine in here or nothing like that. Yeah, I ain't gone back to the.
I mean, yeah. Just to add to your point, I'll say this though. Thomas Frank has a lot to prove for coming to Spurs, because look, it's great what you did. Like, what's that?
Does he?
I mean, no, because come on. This guy, this is like a big jump for him. Like, let's be honest, right?
Okay, but in this first season, I don't think he'll be playing like with any sort of pressure at all, personally.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. However, this is the thing, right? At Brentford, it's okay to just finish 10th every season, right? Because at the end of the day, that club is a club that are in the Premier League. Just happy.
Isn't that okay for Spurs this season to finish 10th?
Okay, listen, we know what Spurs' ambitions are. They want to be in the European places, right?
I'm saying it could change after this first year. I can see like expectations changing, but the fact that he's come in from Brentford Spurs finished 17th, and he's also playing Champions League football for the first time. I can't see the expectation being top 6, a good cup run, and all that stuff. It's
maybe not top 6, but at least maybe get like bare minimum Conference League at least.
Hey, it's Henry. Like, Kate, what are you not saying? Like, is that the expectation of him this year? Like,
I'd take 7th next season. I'll take that.
Okay,
new manager coming in. I'll take that.
Okay, 10th and a good cup run. Are you taking that?
Yeah, that would not be bad.
I mean,
considering what happened this season that had.
What are we saying? 10th and a cup, or just like a semi-final of a cup?
No, not like I'm not saying, because me saying Tottenham are going to win, so I'm not really ready to do that. But a good cup run that could lead to whatever in that, maybe.
Yeah, if you offer me right now 10th and an FA Cup, I'm taking it.
What about
or a cup?
I'm not taking a cup run, but I'm definitely taking the cup.
So
I think 7th's about where we are. Like I don't think the squad with some new additions. I don't think we're as strong as Newcastle. We're not as strong as Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool or City. Like, and I think 7th next year will be between Villa, Spurs, and Forest. Like, we'll be in that mix, and that's where Levy's come out and said he wants to win the Prem, wants to win the Champions League. We'll go and fucking show it now. Go out and drop 200-300 million quid. The money's there. Like, the financial reports are out there for everyone to see. The money is there. Don't go and say it. Actually, go and do it. Yeah. And signings like Kudus, we'd all be sitting there going, right, okay, that's a great step. Like this Japanese guy we've brought in, okay, I mean, from a couple of highlight reels, he looks a good player, but that's not really backing up what you're saying, is it? I know it's early, we're only in July, and players are just coming off their holidays and whatnot. But if we're still sitting here come early August and we're a few days away from the Super Cup and we haven't got anyone over the line yet, then serious questions have got to be asked again about what is going on.
I hear that. Look, it's an interesting. I think a lot of teams haven't done that. The market's been held up a little bit. I think the Club World Cup slowed it down a bit. I think you've got teams like Arsenal that are holding things up because they're like the striker market as an example. United are holding on, and I was actually going to ask you guys, what do you guys make of the Watkins to Man United links? But United are not looking like they're going to move on to Watkins, and so they know what's happening with Gyokeres, because I like Watkins, but Gyokeres is better. But if you move now and then Arsenal pick Sesko, you're standing there feeling a little bit silly. And I think there's that in multiple positions. You guys wanted, obviously, a few players you've been rejected for, but you want Kudus. But Kudus is probably going to try and hang on a little bit. Well, what if Arsenal don't get Rodrygo or Eze? What if Chelsea come in for me? Do you know what I mean? I think there's so many teams looking at these players. It isn't as simple as fans just saying, well, let's just go out and buy people. It's going to take 2 or 3 really important deals, I think, to start the ball rolling in many ways. And I think Arsenal picking Sesko or Gyokeres, I think it's one of the big ones. I think it really is one of the big ones. Once that's done, I think you'll start to see a lot more sort of fall into place in that regard.
I think that they need to make a big impact signing, because you've just seen what City and Liverpool have just done, right? Before they started the actual transfer window, right? They've just Liverpool just brought in Wirtz, and City has brought in players like Cherokee and Reinders and all these guys, right? And Arsenal are just sitting in their hands like that, right? You're still dilly-dallying between 2 strikers, right? For me, they should try and get in. I would rather they go in for a player like Gyokeres, because Sesko, he might work, he might not. But the thing is, he's one of those players who really, he needs time. And the thing with Arteta is, he's really the walls are closing in on him, right? I feel like this season, if he doesn't win anything, he's going to get sacked or he's going to leave. So he needs to go and get the players who he can rely on for most of the season. Not players who are just going to be, maybe they might be good, maybe they might need time, and maybe, they need certain time in the league. For a player like Sesko, for a player like Gyokeres' level, he's a top striker. He was a top striker for the past few seasons, right? He can look at that guy and say, well, listen, I've seen you score a lot of goals. I'm expecting you to score the goals for us this season.
They definitely need a statement signing. There's no doubt about that. A big report from, again, yesterday, I think Laurie Whitwell put it out. Ben Jacobs has stated it today that it's looking very likely that Rasmus Højlund will leave Manchester United. Ollie Watkins is a name that keeps being mentioned. As we know, Gyokeres prefers a move to Arsenal at this particular moment in time. Rasmus out, Ollie Watkins in. How good is that, Kate, for Man United?
You're mute,
Mute
Kate.
it.
Sorry, I thought my doorbell was going to go again. Look, Højlund's been a massive disappointment for Man United, so I think anything's better. But I did read that Man United are not willing to pay the £60 million valuation that Villa have put on Ollie Watkins. So
True.
I don't know whether anything's going to come of this, because Villa can't afford to just sell. There's rumours that Martinez is going. There's rumours Jacob Ramsey's going. They can't just sell all their best players. Otherwise, they've built themselves up to where they are now. So I think it'd be a good move.
They need the money, though, Kate. They need the peas, man. Not getting Champions League football has completely messed them up. They took a lot of risks in January as well, with like wages of Rashford, Asensio, and other stuff as well. They needed it, no?
I just don't see it happening. I don't think they'll let Ollie Watkins go, and I don't think Man United will pay what they want either. So it's not one that I see. I still see Gyokeres going to Man United. I don't know why. I've just got it in my head that he's going to end up there.
You see what, Kate, with that Gyokeres one, and Terry, I need your help with this one, because the reason why I don't think Gyokeres goes to Man United, hear me out, not necessarily because Arsenal are going to sign him. Even if they don't sign him, my thing is, he's 27? When is he 28? Is it this year or next year?
I'm not too sure. I think it might be February.
Not too sure. But he's in the peak of his powers. He's just been playing Champions League football. There's no real guarantee, man, even getting the Champions League next season, with considering where you guys finished. Maybe there's an outside chance, but it's not a guarantee. So, like, would he risk, like, the next time playing the Champions League, him being 29? I don't know. That's if he was 25, there's a few more years to play with. But Terry, do you think that he'd risk not playing Champions League football till he's 29 at the stage of his career right now?
Look, well, that's why he's picking Arsenal as a first choice. But I think it depends on who else comes in for him, because the relationship with Sporting is broken. That's done. It's finished. So there's no option there. There's probably other Champions League teams at the moment: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, and Spurs. None of them are looking at him. Then you start to go down. Is he going to go to Italy? I doubt it. He might go Juve. They've offered him something, so there's an option there. But outside of that, it's almost his options become a little bit more limited in that regard. I agree. If PSG and Man United both offer him a deal, I think he'll pick PSG. I think if one of the big Italian clubs offers him Champions League football and big money, I think he'll do that. But if Arsenal do opt for Sesko, and if Arsenal opt for Sesko, and Man United are there, it's not even about him taking a risk. He already said that he's open to the idea of it. I think it would be, I don't want to use worst case scenario for him right now is obviously going back to Sporting after everything that's been said publicly. But there is still a chance United get him. The problem for me, and this is me being honest, I just can't allow my hopes to get up in any way, shape. I can't allow myself for a single second to believe that's going to happen, because it's going to hurt when I see him holding another club's shirt. So I almost want to bury any thought or feeling that it could happen. Although, of course, it's plausible. Like there is still that chance. But it's you lot. Honestly, like, no disrespect to Arsenal, but the way you're holding up this market, it's criminal, bro. We want to eat here. We're hungry. And you're sitting there you're just sitting there, and ahhing over which one you want. And the queues behind you is massive, and we're starving, but we can't eat it yet because we haven't paid at the checkout. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the Ollie Watkins deal, but again, Villa's money seems interesting because they sold their women's team, but they didn't sell it for like 300 million like Chelsea did. It went for like 50 odd million. Their need, the money issues that they've got were much bigger than 50 million. So I still think they're under a little bit of pressure to sell people. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see exactly what that looks like in reality.
I don't think United will go for it personally. He's 29, 30 years of age. This is probably the last big move. How old is he, sorry?
27, Gyokeres.
He's 27.
I was going back to when he spoke about Villa. I was talking about Watkins. This is his last big move he's going to have. And he's going to want 3-4 year contract. And I look at the strikers. Like, Watkins is better than the strikers you signed recently, but if it doesn't work out, it's going to be very, very difficult to move on because he's over the age of 30. and his resale value is not going to be that high, and he's probably going to want 150, 170, 180 grand a week. I think he'll stay at Villa.
That's where I think the conversation comes down to the fee. So, for instance, we've said no to 60 million. If you could pick him up at 40 million, and he's on 130 a week now, if you can bring him in for under 200k a week, he represents a lot less risk in that regard.
Yeah.
But you're dropping 60 millions. I'd be disappointed. And I know a lot of fans hate the whole accountancy thing, but it's about the value of, it's about buying Ollie Watkins. What does it do for all the next purchases? What does it do to the wage structure and what everybody else wants? And then that makes you run out of money. It's very important to care about the finances. And from my perspective, I feel like if we get him for the right price and the right salary, I'm happy. Again, if someone says right now it's 60 million and I'm 250k a week, 110%, I'm saying no to that, because I think it means you're going to then pay over the odds for other players because you're setting that precedent. And anyone of Watkins' ability or above is going to want 250, 300s. And we shouldn't be starting players of Watkins is very good and he's better than what we've got, but he still shouldn't even be coming into Man United earning 250, 300k a week. So yeah, the price has got to be right, 110% in my view.
Yeah.
This here says I would sack Arteta if he does worse and worse. Hasn't been better and better despite all the injuries last season. In the Champions League, it's going up, right? Yeah, it got better last year.
Why do we keep talking about despite of the injuries? Is he the only manager that has to deal with injuries? Yeah, great.
I mean, I was going to ask that question.
Like, no one can move me about this thing. I saw my team win the league with Gilles Grimondi, Alex Manninger, Christopher Ray. So all this one that you lot are talking, please miss me with the injuries thing, man. Make it work. That's what a squad's there for.
Bro. Look at last season. When it comes, look at my club, right? We competed in all competitions until May, right? Most of the season we were having injury. At the start of the season, from the first start of the season all the way to December, we had 10 injuries in our starting 11. We had to play kids, and we were dominating under a new manager, right? So yeah, this term about injuries, I don't get it, because you saw during around the tail end of the season when we lost players like Lewandowski and all of those guys around the tail end of the season, right? Did that stop us from still competing? Did that stop us from winning the trophies that we won? No. At the end of the day, there's always excuses when it comes to a lot of these Arsenal fans. This is not the first time you guys have gotten close and not win anything, right? So I don't know why they're acting like injuries all of a sudden is the reason why this season, for some reason, they didn't get it done. No. You just were not good enough. That's it. You won.
I appreciate your level-headed view of our club, Man United. I'd love to have Victor. However, I think we can survive another season with 2 WA strikers like Mateta. Oh, listen, I'd prefer Mateta over
Watkins.
What's his name? Watkins. Yes, I'd take Mateta. I think he's better. 10 injuries, that's all. Oof, is what Wayne says here. Spurs will finish higher than Chelsea next season. Now, that's a big take.
Massive take. I'm here for it, though. Can't see it.
You're on mute, Kate.
Personally, I can't see it.
No, I can't see it either, unfortunately.
Unless Thomas Frank comes in and just, has one hell of a run, and obviously Enzo Maresca gets sacked. I do think Thomas Frank's going to surprise a lot of people, though. That's the first time in an appointment I'm actually really behind this.
What does the surprise look like, Henry? Tell us.
I think the play style is going to be a lot more attacking than people think. People think we're going to just turn up and sit back and counter. I think the players we've got, you're not going to see the back four doing 60-yard sprints every game. I think we all hold on to Romero. And I think if you offered a lot of Tottenham fans right now 7th, I think they'd take it. Get in the Conference League, go and win that, add another trophy in the cabinet, then push on. Outside of the top 4, I'd go as far to say that Thomas Frank, other than Slot and Guardiola, there's an argument that he's right up there in terms of the managers. You could maybe put Arteta in there because he's competed with
Eddie Howe?
Yeah, Eddie Howe, but then and
Emery.
Emery, right? Other than that,
Emery, stop talking.
He was a very good manager, though. Like,
so basically, he's not going to shock anyone. You're going to lose Romero, and you're going to finish 9th. That's what I just said.
I don't think we are going to lose him. I think Levy's going to price him out to a point of where it's like you've got to pay 75 million quid. And I don't think
what happens when you make predictions, Henry. You know what happens when you make predictions, though, right?
But if we do sell Romero, then I'm looking at it thinking, well, Gahey was the one we wanted, and now he's going to go Liverpool. So, like, is this new Japanese centre back going to come in and just slot straight in next to Van der Ven? I don't even know what the guy's name is. I actually can't remember what the new centre back we signed
is it or something?
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but when it depends what you mean. But yeah, surprise. I think Thomas Frank will do well, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did well. So I think it's.
Where do you think we'll finish?
Oh, I have to wait and see for your transfer window, mate. I've got no idea where you're going to finish. You haven't signed anyone again. If you lose 2 or 3, like Son is going, if you lose Romero and your replacement is nowhere near as good, I've got to wait to see who you sign. I have no idea where you're going to finish. Genuinely, you won't be like you were last year. You'll be much higher in the league. You'll be in the top half, but I don't know any more specific. No, it's not a dig. You're.
No, it's not a dig. It's just the fact that we're mentioning that is just nuts. Considering.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that I don't think it would be as bad as last year, but it's so difficult to put a actual like time a bit on it. One name for Spurs: Raheem the Dream Sterling.
Stays in London. Stays in London. Wait.
What's he going to be? William Gallas 2.0, where he does all 3 clubs.
Oh, he did, didn't he? I forgot about that.
I'd love to see it. I can't lie.
As a match-going fan, the vibe at the Emirates is much more positive. Online, it just feels so negative. It just feels like there's no middle ground. I've got a little theory on this. I was out last night with some people from the industry, and they're not like content creators, but they were saying that they've got a theory where online fans are more negative. And their theory is it's a shield. When you're a match-going fan, you might come across a rival as you're leaving. But typically, if you're a match-going fan, you're with other Arsenal fans, you go to the game. You may not do much stuff online, may not barely tweet. You finish, you go home. You get a bit of banter at work. Your brother might text you. But that's it, football done. Well, when you're online, it's all day, every day that you're representing your club and you can't escape it. And his theory is, he goes, because he follows football content, is that he sees people become more and more negative over time, because the more negative you are about your own club, the less shit you get about it, other than maybe your own fan base, but you don't get as much crap when things go wrong. And I was like, I don't think that's right for everybody, because I would never put everybody in the same box. But I was like, there's definitely some science behind that, I reckon. I reckon if they went and actually tested it and actually got people to be honest behind closed doors, I bet there's a good 30 to 40% of people that are constantly, to the super chat point, annoyed all the time to like a really high level. There's almost an element of the 8 Mile effect. Well, if I say we're crap, I'll get less people come at me telling me we're crap. And if you think about all of our fan bases, United, Arsenal, Tottenham, the people that are, this is what I see happening. If you're like, we're crap, we're never going to win, and you win, you get to join in the party. Hey, we won. Where if you're like positive, and you lose, you can never hear the end of it. And I think some people, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, realize, because I don't believe in this person's negative to get views, this person's positive to get views. I think people give their opinions. And I can put myself in this category. I like being unbiased as best I can, but actually I've got, other than with Arsenal, I get far less abuse when I'm completely unbiased than when I was biased. And I think health-wise, because it's not nice reading bad things about yourself, it makes me feel better, and I do more of it, and it feels quite cathartic. The only one that I don't get it with is Arsenal. I get more abuse when I'm positive about Arsenal. On my channel, Terry Flewis TV, this week I've done a couple of Arsenal, I've done a couple of Chelsea, and done a couple of Liverpool. On the Liverpool and Chelsea ones, it's, oh my God, someone biased, brilliant. On the Arsenal ones, you scumbag, you simp, it's kind of mad. It's kind of mad when it's Arsenal. The language is a madness. It really is. Top six predict. We can't do top six predictions yet. We can't.
No.
How?
Okay. Well, I think Liverpool are going to win the league. I think City.
You think Liverpool are going to win the league like that? Because here's the thing. I know. We just saw City lose against Al Hilal in the Club World Cup, but dude, the transfer window just started. I feel like City are not finishing the transfer window yet.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool finished either, but I still think
I don't think they do that much more though.
I think Liverpool got the best 11. I think they've got the best. They've got the best attacker in the league, the best defender in the league, the best goalkeeper in the league. Their midfield is pretty much there. They've just won the league, and they've strengthened with two fullbacks who know how to play that system with one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, and they're going after a striker. The only way I change my prediction is if Arsenal go out and get Rodrygo and Gyokeres, and City make a worldy signing. If Arsenal go and get Rodrygo and Gyokeres, game on. If City go out and bring in a Maverick signing, like they got a Rodrygo, because I still think City are one Haaland injury away from. I don't know who's going to come in and score 20 goals. I think Arsenal, they're like that. The Rodrygo and Gyokeres signing puts them on par, if not stronger, Liverpool. But Liverpool, they've just added a creative genius who can feed Salah even more in Florian Wirtz. Like, it's very hard to look at Liverpool
hear what you're saying, Henry,
and say they're not going to win the league again.
I hear what you're saying, but there's a couple of variables that it's kind of unknown as well. Like, Frimpong typically plays as a right wing back, not a right back. So that's going to be interesting to see how that looks this season. Obviously, Liverpool setting up predominantly without Trent as their key creative player and changing it to Wirtz. Is it going to be that easy? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, but there's still some questions to be asked about it. And what happens with Diaz, Nunes?
Yeah, they're probably going to keep Diaz. I think they're keeping Diaz. I think they're going to try and, like, they've been chasing Isak and others already. They're looking at that, and not to the want to sound insensitive either. There is going to be a really big motivation at Liverpool this year as well now, and that's not to try. There just is, because we would all be in that mindset. This is unprecedented, and I think that will.
If my team don't win it, I hope that Liverpool win it. I'm saying it now, just for Jota, and I mean that as well. And our team, let's be fair, my team ain't going to win it. So
I get that. There could also be a lot of neutral support for Liverpool this year as well, which can help. These things, it could go the other way. And look, but that's another conversation for another day, really. Look, I want to thank each and every single person who's tuned into the show for the last hour and a half. Obviously, as we said at the start, a very, very, very tragic day indeed in relation to football at large. Commiserations, condolences again to Jota's family, his mother, his wife, his children, everyone connected to him. An horrendous day, and I'm sure I want, if you would all be so kind in the audience, to join in for a minute's silence at the end of the show for Jota. The show will end straight after that. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with more content. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.